we got to work now, right? I guarantee you got some friends that are around you or that goes to your school that's terrified that that brother's in office. So even what you can also do is create some healing circles within your friend group and at your school to say, y'all, we got your back. You feel me? And so I think it's like really the little small things and weird things that we can do to just be super dope in our areas and in our groups that does not take a lot of effort. Like, how would it be for you to get a DJ, put them in your backyard, and you get all your friends over and like, hey, I need all y'all to register, right? Or you see something that's going on in your school. One of the things that we're dealing with the Beverly Hills High School is there's a lot of racial tension going on at Beverly Hills High School. And so we're dealing with them, but also what we're doing is we're activating those students to actually activate other students to say this ain't right? It's something that's wrong here. And so you have an obligation, no matter if you're 12 years old or you're 17 years old, you have an obligation to do your part. And your part is big for who you are, right? I don't expect you to go out there and be Superman as trying to be adult at 17 years old. At 17 years old, I need you to be 17. But there's things that you can do at 17 to really activate your community, and that's going to set you on the path for greatness. That when, what's your name, man?
Jacob.
When everybody sees Jacob, they know Jacob is different, right? Because it's like, it's you, even the question that you just asked is how can we do something for our generation now? That's different, right? So just be 17, but be a great 17 years old and activate those people around you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, bro. You got 3 registered voters sitting right next to you, Jacob. All the friends that's on your list right there, you can register them.
Oh, sorry. I have a question. This could be answered by anybody. But regarding the current state of the world right now, with Donald Trump being back in office and the anti-ICE protests, why do you think it's important to portray storytelling, such as like documentaries like these or movies portraying like cultural? Yeah.
I think that as a Mexican person, it's really important for us to tell our stories because a lot of these stories are being buried. A lot of the stuff that we've had to go through as Mexican people, Black people have gone through, and a lot of people have gone through just trying to exist in America. So if we are not telling these stories and not learning from these lessons, we are doomed to repeat them. You know what I mean? And especially when it comes to Mexican people, just like Black people, we're disparaged in a lot of conversations. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stereotypes, but for every stereotype is a truth that these are hardworking people who deserve to be here, just like everybody else. But you're not going to know that if you're taught ignorance. So the way that we combat ignorance is by having conversations that challenge their narratives and challenge their viewpoints. If you watch Fox News every day and you hear, oh, these illegals are coming here, they're doing this, they're doing that, you're going to think that Mexican people and people who are coming here are the biggest bad that we need to worry about when the biggest bad is in office. We have a felon in office, you know what I mean? I'm not worried about some guy trying to feed his family, you know what I mean? Waking up at 4 in the morning, picking fruits just so he can go back at 12 and just take a little nap for a little bit and then get up and do it again. Come on, that guy's here to work and help his family. So if you don't tell his story, and if you don't tell your story, and as somebody like me who's second generation American, if I don't tell my story, we're just gonna get lost in the weeds and nobody's gonna know who we are. And by not knowing who you are, how do I care about you, my brother? We gotta know who you are so I can care about you and have understanding so we can have a conversation, so we can heal together. You know what I mean? But it's conversation at the end of the day.
The craziest thing about America is that they would rather you be an invited slave rather than an uninvited slave.
Yeah.
Black folks, they put us on boats to get here, which means they invited us. But then they want to talk down and create borders for people that they so-called didn't invite. But also it's people that they stole land from. So I think the important thing about storytelling is first you have to do your history so that you can tell the story and know the truth behind that story. And then when you know truth behind that story, then you actually stand in the certain level of truth where you can actually go into spaces and give truth to power, right? And so to me, I think it's that space, right? And for a lot of us, we like invited chaos rather than uninvited chaos. And so yeah, I would say just continue the people that you have in your circle, man. Continue to make sure you guys educate yourself, because the more you're educated, like America fears educated people. Period. They fear us. So the more that you educate yourself, the more you're around educated people, you will have a target on your back because you are educated. And I don't mean educated like book smarts is great. I mean educated by you knowing your history and know why you're here right now today and what it took for you to get to this moment and who had to sacrifice for you to get to this moment.
I would just follow up because two great comments by just saying your voice matters.
Absolutely.
Period. Empower it. I want to hear your story. I want to hear your voice.
He can make another $40 film off your voice.
You don't have to budget on this one. I'm gonna throw in another 20 with that.
Okay, thank you for answering my question.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
I got a question for Hudson and Noah. Now, I didn't know you guys made this movie in 6th grade because I only met you guys in 7th grade and we're not close. But now that like the heat of the moment, the worst has come to pass. 5 years later, how do you think you two can still embody that movement and be a role model now that you're older and you're almost adults? Now, how do you think you kind of like change?
I mean, honestly, I think our friendship and with you, Jacob, and everybody kind of embodies it the best. Like, I mean, look, we got Mexican, black, white, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I think the fact that we've all been such close friends for so long really does embody the truth. I guess the ideal of what we want the state we want this country to be in, which is just in a state of unity between all races.
I mean, yeah, sort of going off of that, it's like what everyone was talking about, it's all about unity. We gotta look past race and just continue doing what we're doing, bringing our friendship to everyone, just showing that friendship and relationships doesn't go to just your people, it's our people, everyone.
Awesome. Well, we got one more. Jacob, I'm trying to go to that party too, so let me know.
So, my question to you all is, how did you feel after your first time watching Noah? Because for me, after I finished watching the film, because today was my first time ever seeing it, I felt a sense of frustration and like despair just seeing all these clips of like injustice and like the cruelties in the world. And while I prefer like, well, it's not a good thing, I prefer like ignoring some of these things and believing that like the world is a good, the world could be a good place, and I have like the same sense of being as Mr. Harris here. Like I want to change the world, I want to do all this good, and I just want to know like how you all felt, because that's how I.
I can start, and I really like the way you said that the world is a good place, because I truly do believe it is. And I think I kind of embodied, and I think I kind of felt that after watching this for the first time as somebody who took part in the creative process. I kind of felt a sense of pride that, like, even through all of this disparity and everything that was going on, we were still able to make this with all the, even as like with limited as it was, as limited with the resources as we had, we were still able to produce this, and so many people were receptive to it that again, I just had a feeling that the world really is a good place, and that the people do want change, and that people are willing to listen if you give them the chance to.
Yeah, me too. It's like, I was in a couple of scenes, but I didn't really have I didn't know what was going on behind the scenes too much. So then watching it for the first time, it was really impactful, meaningful. I felt a lot of the same things as you. I felt angry, confused, because, some of the stuff, I was also 12 at the time, so some of the stuff I was hearing about and seeing it for the first time, and it just kind of like opened my eyes to see what exactly it was we were fighting for. and it helped me realize that this is something that really needs to be said.
I think for me, I'm actually glad I watched it 5 years later, because the same thing that took place 5 years ago is happening today. And I think what we need is these reminders that our voice actually matters, but also we need a reminder of how quick society moves on, even when we still have present issues that are the same. One of the elected officials in my city, I won't name him. If you want to know, come ask me after and I'll tell you. But he literally said when we were protesting for George Floyd, he said, "Oh, give them 2 weeks. I guarantee they'll be gone in 2 weeks. Just let them protest. Like, don't stop them. Don't do anything. Let them go. In 2 weeks, they'll be gone." But the thing is that literally what happens is something else happens in our society that takes away the media, and it takes away what we're doing, and we shift the focus. Because if you notice, after George Floyd came what? COVID. And we shifted, right? We never stopped dying. We never stopped getting shot. We never stopped getting beat up. We never stopped getting tased. But COVID started happening, and focuses shift. And so I think, going back to your point, even about the importance about social media, is that when the national media gone, we still have social media to show that, hey, y'all, this stuff is happening. So I appreciate watching this film 5 years later, because it gives me a reminder that we still have things that we have to call to the forefront, and we still have people that have to use their voice. And it's literally this dude sitting next to me that's 12, that was 12, now is 17. Number one, he don't even look like what was on that film. I was like, yo, that's a whole other person. But then number two, it's even him being able to articulate 5